Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in here again with episode 12. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this shit got like 7 more episodes, man. I know. Suffrage. Anyway, I'm Sanjay.
And I missed you.
Yep. And yeah, man, we just gotta go right for it.
Let's go.
So we open up to Roman and Enigma in a dimly lit room with Kate strapped to a chair. Roman apparently dug up his dead daughter's coffin that has a replica mask that each one of his family members are buried with, I guess. Don't know why, but Enigma tells Kate that the only memories that she'll have going forward will be of Circe Sionis, and I almost said Lannister. Damn, that's crazy. But Kate struggles and says, "I am Kate Kane." Roman walks over, puts the mask on Kate. Enigma says some magic words, taps her cane on the floor like 2 times, and boom, just like that, Kate is now Circe Sionis, magically. Enigma explains that Kate's voice sounds a bit different because her larynx was damaged during her kidnapping and a little bit of torture going on. So, as Circe, Kate stands up and asks, "Hey, Dad, why am I wearing this mask?" And, what's his name? Roman says that she was in a terrible fire while she was trying to escape Gotham. Now, I guess that was a good way to explain why her voice is so radically different, because Ruby Rose's voice was a tad bit deeper, but, you know, whatever, I get it. They trying to explain it away. So, what did you think about this scene?
I thought this scene was just eerie because of the music they were
That cringy ass music. Why?
Not eerie.
It was just cringy to me.
It had a vibe about it that was like, really, it didn't seem like it was necessary to be that way. I don't know. This whole transformation was very quick, and I'm wondering what was talked about in these so-called therapy sessions, right? Because we know what was happening in Enigma's other therapy sessions. You know, she's brainwashing motherfuckers. So right. I'm telling you, I think that's what happened, and you know, that's probably what they're gonna say happened.
That she was brainwashed
during some therapy sessions that we didn't watch, and because and they can say whatever the fuck they want to say happened in those therapy sessions, because none of us were able to see it and call them on their shit if they fuck up again.
I would love to know.
They like doing stuff like that.
I would love to know what was the purpose of digging up the mask. See, I was thinking that it might have had like some supernatural shit to it, or supernatural properties, even though they didn't say that. But, I mean, why else would he exhume a coffin to get a mask and put it on Kate's face? I mean, like, I was just thinking maybe that might be the way that she gets Circe's personality and memories, but they didn't really say that. That's just me guessing, so.
We're both guessing, babe, because this show, again, is not explaining anything.
They never explain shit.
All that we know for sure is that Enigma is capable of fucking with people's memories. And you know.
Yeah. That's about it.
She just gave Kate a new identity. Is what happened.
Yeah, they did say that they would never replace Kate Kane, but they replaced her with this new actress. Anyway, that's that. So, yeah.
Whatever. Cue the intro.
I can't wait till this show's canceled. Thank you. I'll be here all night. Thank you. You're too kind. Alright, so Alice and Ocean are waking up from what looks to have been a great night.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
And all that, so you know what I'm saying. Alice gets up and gets dressed, and some false-faced guys show up looking for Ocean. My only question is, how did they know where they were? Bruh, that is a good question.
It really is a good question.
Seriously. So Alice cracks one over the head with a bottle before immediately being knocked the fuck out. And then they all go in and they start beating the crap out of Ocean, and I'm assuming they kidnap him, but
we don't know because you know how they do.
I'm pretty sure they kidnapped him if they were there looking for him, but
look, these motherfuckers, whatever.
Yeah. See, what I'm tripping off of in this scene, my problem is Alice and her fighting prowess, right? Because see, I gotta go back a few episodes when Sophia was saying that when Alice was untrained, she was able to successfully take out 4 of her well-trained assassins, right?
Yes.
When she didn't have no training at all, she was able to take out 4 well-trained assassins, okay? But she gets knocked out very, very quickly, I might add, by 3 false-face members here. And from what I understand, you know, these false-face members are just thugs. I don't think they're well-trained in anything. They're just brawlers. You know what I'm saying? She gets immediately knocked the fuck out. Now, they seem to be picking and choosing when Alice is a complete badass and can just run through, like, I don't know, a room full of dudes by herself. And then, you know, other times like this when she gets knocked out real quick, so.
Seems reminiscent of Ryan.
They do Ryan the same way, that's true. Because, I mean, well, they started out with Ryan getting beat down and pushed over by just about anybody she came in contact
but they
with.
also started off saying she knew 6 different martial arts.
Yeah, now see, that was crazy.
So how you gonna start off saying that shit, but we ain't seen it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They started out saying that Ryan was a master of 6 different martial arts, but she was getting pushed over like a tumbleweed by everybody. Until she got that suit. Then she magically, you know, her training kicked in when she put that suit on. But anyway, I just thought that was some shit to point out, man, because Alice got knocked out pretty quick. And I'm just saying, if she's supposed to be such a badass and can take out assassins when she was untrained, these motherfuckers should have been in a world of trouble dealing with her. But anyway, not to mention, well, Ocean has an excuse. He was in the bed, he was disoriented, he was just waking up. So I could understand why he would get beat up. But Ocean trained her, so if he was up on his feet, then he definitely wouldn't have had an excuse for getting his ass whooped. But I'll give him a pass because he was in the bed and he was just waking up, so whatever. Okay, so back at Crow's HQ, Sophie is comparing pictures of Ryan to Batwoman. And she got that look on her face like, how come I didn't know who this bitch was 12 episodes ago? You know what I'm saying? She really do look like that. But anyway, she sees Agent Tavaroff in the hall speaking to another agent before he walks in. And she gets up and confronts him and says that she heard a rumor that he had blood from the bat. Now, he thinks she already know who it is and that this whole thing is a waste of time. You could just tell me who it is right now. He didn't say that, but that's pretty much what you get from him. Because he's like, word on the street, you already know who the fuck this bitch is anyway because you knew who the first one was. So, moving on.
Looks like Jacob's been getting high upstairs. And oh my goodness, before he can put up all his shit, he sees Sophie coming to the door. So he scrambles toes out of the way. In she walks, and she's like, oh, sir, we've got to talk about this. Like, do you really think that that's a good allocation of your funds or whatever? You know, to be looking up this blood on this vigilante. I know you got a problem with them and shit, but really.
He look like he don't give a fuck about nothing she talking about, to be honest.
Why are you in here right now? He's just like, I'm high and you fucking it up. That's what, you know, so she started really like digging on him like, man, should we really be spending money on this? Shouldn't we be trying to find black mass? Well, Batwoman fucked that up, okay? So we gonna deal with her first.
But anyway, he just totally goes absolute ape shit on her. You know what I'm saying? You think because you had a fling with my daughter, you can just tell me how to run my shit? Get out of my office. And she's just like, excuse me? You heard me. Get the fuck out. And she's like, yes, sir. I'm like, bruh, Jacob is full-blown drug addict at this point. Like, this dude is a completely different person.
Anyway.
So back at the Batcave,
Ryan is having to relive the scene from her fight at the snakebite warehouse, I should say. When she got her ass punched and, lost some blood. But anyway, so she's having to relive that footage because Luke is analyzing it. And he basically figures that Black Mask was able to do that remotely. And so he's like, okay, well, basically I'm going to track the IP that he's using to look at where she is so that they can find out where Angelique is. So while they're doing that, he finds it rather quickly or whatever. Ryan gets ready to fuck off, and then
the bat signal goes off.
Yeah, so he's like, I don't think this is gonna be your first stop. But I'm like, shit, for real, if that was my girl, I felt really bad, and somebody is hitting this bat signal,
I would have ignored that shit, to be honest.
I don't know, because anybody who might be touching that bat signal right now is probably not on my,
good list.
Good list. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all of them, right? But good thing she went, so she got some decent information. She knows that the crows are on her ass as far as her identity.
Yeah.
Sophie filled her in on this and gave her the opportunity to come clean about her identity, which she did not.
If I was Sophie, I was wondering why she didn't just say, so Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on. I'm like, come on, Ryan.
Yeah, that would have put her on blast.
If she would have just been like, Ryan, girl, why don't you come on with this?
But she didn't do it.
Nope, she didn't. Old girl decides that she's like, I'm gonna use my little bit of time I got left of freedom to go find my girl. So, whatever. She did encourage Sophie to have the sample destroyed, but in all honesty, that process has already started, and Sophie might be hard pressed to do it.
A little too late for that anyway. They already in process of doing that. So, and then when she extends her arm,
everything else is like in a distance.
Any other building is like miles away from where they are, and she puts her arm up like she's straight up, and I'm like, what are you about to attach this grappling hook to? And then she shoots it and attaches it to what?
I don't know. She attaches it up, but she goes down. Anyway,
she smooth did some Spider-Man shit. Do you remember the old Spider-Man cartoons when he used to like swing in the middle of the air on nothing? Yeah. And it's like there's buildings around, but his webs are going straight up, and he just swinging through the city. That's what she did, basically. I'm like, oh hell no, man! Did they really just do that? So yeah, I thought that shit was crazy, but. Whatever.
Moving on.
So we cut to Batwoman walking through a false-faced hideout, and she's talking to Luke on the comms, and Luke is concerned about her coming back to the Batcave so they can figure out how to get her out of this situation with her identity being in question from the crows. So she's just like, nah, I'm gonna go look for Angelique. You guys put your heads together and come up with a way to take care of that situation, and I'm gonna go and worry about this situation. So
yeah, before she gets off the phone with him now, she sees this mask and blood and shit on the ground, but she's like, oh, I'm gonna check in later, instead of saying, let me be quiet and check my surroundings and shit.
She's never stealthy. She is never stealthy. It's just
stupid though. I mean, me thinking with sense.
But then she runs into Alice. And Alice is conveniently burning somebody's face with a blowtorch. Casually, that's what I meant.
Yeah, ever so casually. She's just getting information out of these motherfuckers. Her and Batwoman have a conversation and quickly find out that they both have kidnapped people who are in black mass possession.
Right.
So they're trying to locate them. Alice is like, look, I need somebody to stand behind so, my face don't get fucked up. And even though your face is kind of exposed a little bit, that mask seemed to help you. So I'm going to stand behind you, okay, bitch? You catch these bullets.
Basically. So the two of them agree to some sort of a partnership, but Ryan threatens her and says something about, if you cross me, you won't have to worry about anybody else or bullets killing you. And I'm thinking to myself, you already got your ass whooped by Alice. And I'm like, why does your threat mean anything right now?
It really doesn't, because that's why Alice was like, okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Bitch.
Threat don't
about you.
Threat don't mean shit right now. Seriously.
Alright, so Alice and Batwoman jump in the black car.
Because that's not the Batmobile.
And they are headed towards the next hideout or wherever the fuck Alice, got out of the dude that she was burning up.
And it seems like Ryan is driving faster than 10 miles an hour this time.
What a shocker.
Bruh.
Just saying. But anyways, Alice is like, oh wait, what does this button do? Getting around touching the shit. She sees the self-destruct button and I'm just like, oh, press it, Alice.
Press it, Alice.
Do it, Alice. Please.
Oh, man.
Ryan's like, man, quit touching shit in here. What the fuck is your problem, Really? He's like, man, okay, let's get to know each other. Who emoji'd who first. She started stirring up shit, talking about her and Angelique. And Batwoman is like, look, I ain't trying to get to know you like that. The only thing I need to know about you is, what's written on my mama's tombstone or whatever the hell she said. Yeah, that's the bottom line for her. Bitch, you killed my mama all the time.
And that's it.
Anyways. Then we cut to Sophie and Crow's HQ, headed to the lab, trying to see the updates on all the blood work and shit that's been going on. Oh, girl's like, oh, well, Tefrov just left here asking the same shit. So he's like, yeah, well, I'm here for the commander, so, tell me what's up. Oh, girl's like, well, don't worry about it. I'm working on it, and I'm going to be babysitting this thing the whole time. She's like, how long they got? It said about 80. She was at 84% or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Ryan doesn't have much time. Sophie leaves and calls Luke, and is like, hey, we need a plan B, because I ain't going to be able to get a hold of that. It's too many eyes on this shit right now.
And Luke is like, the plan is for you to destroy the damn sample. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bitch, get your shit together.
So Sophie is talking about there's about 78 more minutes or something like that. Did she say 78 minutes?
Yeah, she said 78 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking in percentages here, but okay. Whatever.
Yeah, she did. She did say 78 minutes until they figure out who Ryan is or whatever, so...
Yeah, and she breaks down the whole issue, okay, if she's ever been entered into the system for any reason ever, such as an arrest, she made sure to say that because she already knows Ryan and whatnot, but she's giving them a chance to open up to her, but she whatever, bitch, I see you. Basically the whole world's gonna know Batwoman's identity. And she can't do nothing about it right now because everyone at the Crow's office is acting like they sitting on nuclear codes and being super personal about they shit, holding their cards real close to their chest.
Basically, they making it real hard for old Sophie right now.
Wonder if that's because, like Tavros said, everybody feel like
Sophie know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the wrong person to have on the inside at this point. I don't know what the fuck to say about that one. She just left Luke and Mary, on the other side of the line, sitting in the back cave looking like, damn, what we gonna do?
Moving on. So Ryan and Alice pull up to the false face cook site where Angelique and Ocean are being held and forced to make snakebite on camera. The guy says it's an idiot's guide to making snakebite. Take one. And they are standing there like they don't know what the fuck he just said. So he's like, okay, take 2. Basically, there will be no take 3. So, so they hurry up and start putting their gloves on and getting to work because they don't want to get shot.
Then outside, we see Alice and Ryan or Batwoman, I should say, because she dressed up. But whatever, they're having a conversation in the car, but Ryan does not have her voice modulation system on. But I guess it doesn't really matter, though, because she's already exposed herself to Alice anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It doesn't really matter.
I was wondering about that.
But anyway, they're fussing about how they're gonna approach the situation. Batwoman can see 1 sentry out, and she suggests that Alice draw him out so that Batwoman could take him out.
And she blows the horn like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, good old Alice.
And everybody's like, what the fuck? So they start running out, you know what I'm saying? Or one guy starts to run toward them. And, of course, Batwoman shoots a grapple gun at him, wraps him up, drags him over to her, and then she boots him in the head. He's knocked out. So then you got a bunch of other guys coming.
Running like zombies and shit, you know.
Yeah. And Alice is like, yeah, can I get a batarang or something right now? You know what I'm saying? Moving on. Cut back to Crow's HQ, and Sophie is looking like, man. She looking like she is like really, really worried. You know, she wants to get this sample going on.
This gift Mary has is from Luke. Oh, how sweet. It is actually a targeted kill drive, which once inserted into a Tier 1 access having computer in the building, will allow him to rearrange the information being transmitted to the National DNA Registry so that it won't match anything that they have on file.
Clever.
Very clever.
Sophie goes on to tell Mary that Jacob has been held up in his office for hours and she doesn't have a way to get him to leave. And Mary is like, well, why do you think I showed up? So apparently she's going to figure out a way to get him to leave the office.
Whatever.
Okay, so we cut to Batwoman and Alice fighting a bunch of false-faced guys, and I can't help but notice that Alice is upstaging her because they seem to be focused more on her fighting ability. And Ryan is off in the background. We know she's fighting, but we don't see nothing. Alice is banging people's head in the Batmobile's car door and just beating the shit out of people, really. And I didn't really see Ryan do much of anything. You did?
All I saw Ryan do, which is all they ever have Ryan do, is throw people.
Toss people around or deflect.
Yeah, she's not really, on the attack. She's not an offensive player. She's more of a defensive player. Whereas Alice is totally the opposite.
Alice is like swatting people with a bat or a stick or something. She was fucking people up, and like I said, she was stomping people out, and she smashed this one guy's head in the car door, and I was like, damn. They putting a lot of emphasis on Alice on this fight, and I'm thinking
her brutality instead of giving Ryan some time to shine with her 6 different martial arts styles.
Exactly. This is not the Alice show, man. This is supposed to be. The show is called Batwoman.
Yeah. So Alice finishes the old guy in the car door, or whatever, and she's like, "Oh yeah, see, we do make a good team." Talking to Batwoman, Alice kind of explains. Whatever went down with her and Ocean, and Batwoman's like, okay, so you love him. That's so special. They have like kind of a heart-to-heart, and this is like the stupidest time to be doing this, I feel like.
They have a lot of dumbass moments.
Why are we talking about how much in love she is with this fool instead of just getting him?
Taking care of business.
Getting him and Angelique off of this boat that we now know is on the upper deck because, they got that information out of somebody. You know what I'm saying?
They always pick the wrong moments to have banter or some type
this
of...
a heart-to-heart and shit like that. This is not the time, bitch. They pretty much are aware of your presence. You don't know what the fuck is going on with them outside of your vision. So you need to get to them as soon as possible. Not stand there and have a fucking heart-to-heart about, who loves who and bullshit like that.
Anyway, Alice admits that she loves this guy still, and she still has feelings for him, and she wants to make sure he gets out alive, especially after last night's steamy adventure that they had together. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
So we cut back to Crow's HQ, and Mary did succeed in getting Jacob to leave his office. I mean, there was no conversation or anything, but she got this motherfucker to leave for once, so Sophie was able to get in and hook up those very nice shaded windows that he got. I'm telling you, I really want some of those.
I know, that shit is...
Them light switch windows, I don't know. That shit is kind of awesome.
Would never need blinds again.
Right?
Moving on.
So Black Mask is watching remotely, of course, this video that's being taped of Ocean and Angelique making Snakebite, and he's like, oh, this is like such a pleasing performance or some bullshit, right? And everything's going well in his favor until someone clicks in on the line and is like, hey, we got problem, somebody's out here. It's Batwoman and she's with that bitch Alice or some bullshit.
And he's like, what?
And they tell him to go to the North Docks. And apparently that's not where the people who are reporting this are, because it's actually Batwoman and Alice calling in to report this. So basically it was a diversion to send the false face in the opposite direction so that they could get in and save, the people who are kidnapped. And then Batwoman and Alice take this time to have another heart-to-heart.
Again.
I mean, goodness gracious, this is still not the time. I'm just saying, you waiting on these motherfuckers to leave so you can get in, but you want to have a sweet time real quick. Okay. So they do that, which was a lot of talking. I'm not repeating all that bullshit.
Nope.
So, anyways.
I thought about doing that shit, but I'm like, man, fuck all that.
Fuck all that. This is not worth it.
Shit.
Trust me when I tell you, okay? So, after their little heart-to-heart or whatnot, we start to see false-faced people leave the boat and shit come up off the docks. Batwoman and Alice step a little closer to it or whatnot, but Batwoman turns around to remind Alice that she doesn't forget shit, and she has now handcuffed her to whatever rod they were standing next to. So Alice is immovable. Batwoman did turn around to say, I will save Ocean though.
From you.
Bitch. So Ryan's on the boat, but it's kind of hard to figure her way around there. She calls in to Luke and she's asking him to guide her. He agrees to help her. He, starts giving her directions and shit. But then Sophie calls him and asks how to use the fucking, kill drive or whatever that he sent to her. He's like, oh, click her file and, it'll shred it up. Once it's, been uploaded to the registry or whatever. Or their servers, I don't know. So they upload it, but then Sophie can see that they didn't just upload Batwoman's profile. They did, it's, for... How many she said? I don't know. A
lot of different people.
Yeah, a lot of different files and cases or whatever, open cases that are in Gotham. So basically, the only way for this file to work
is if they corrupt all of them.
And basically, that's a lot of evidence against people who do other crimes. You know what I mean? So
murderers, rapists, shit like that. So
Sophie feels morally I can't do this. We can't do this, Luke. This is not right. Just for her, we gonna let all these motherfuckers out, and I ain't got it like that. Can't do that, right?
Because that would not only be protecting Batwoman, it would also be protecting all the rest of those criminals. So she doesn't want to do that.
She's like, wait, I got a plan. Yeah, Luke was like, her results are gonna be back in a couple of minutes. What are we gonna do? And Sophie's like, I know what we're gonna do. But I'm thinking to myself, again, they kind of played this guy, or downplayed, I should say, his intelligence.
Yep.
Because again, he's asking someone, I don't know, I just feel like my guy is just supposed to be smart and have a plan for a plan, you know, especially if you were trained and taught by Batman. But I have to remember this is this show, and I'm just like,
he's a man, so he's not allowed to be smarter than women on the show. Just say it. That's what it is.
It's just difficult. I don't understand why they're doing this. It's like,
you know what I'm
this
saying.
guy is genius level intellect, and I mean, seriously.
Bruh.
Y'all playing him for stupid. Like,
You know what I'm saying is right.
I know what you're saying is right. I know what they're doing and why they do it.
They will not let him upstage a woman. They will not. Even though it makes total sense to his character, which it's supposed to. And I'm not saying that he's just supposed to upstage Sophie because she's a woman. It's because of
He's
Luke.
a fucking genius.
He's a genius level. Oh my! He is of genius level intelligence, man. He's supposed let him play his part. You get what I'm saying? I've given up on the soldier aspect of him. They just cut that. They retcon that shit all the way out of existence. This motherfucker.
Shit, from the pilot, they did that.
Yeah. He couldn't hurt a fly. But I mean, if we was talking about
just him being there for smarts purposes.
Yes, he's supposed to be easily smarter than any of these motherfuckers on the show. But like I said, they're not gonna let that happen because he's a man. That's the direction that they've been going in lately with these shows.
Well, anyway.
Alright, so we cut back to Mary's up to code and legal clinic now. She has passed all of her inspections. She has qualified doctors and staff. And she even mentioned the fact that she's going to be doing paperwork because she has qualified doctors and nurses there, which basically put her in that place. I'm happy to hear that. But Jacob notices that her fax machine isn't plugged up. So if they get someone in there with a gunshot wound, she's supposed to report that to the GCPD. But since Jacob is high as a kite right now, he kind of just says, you know, I don't really have to know if that thing is plugged up or not, so, you know.
He's just trying to get the fuck out of there. He ain't worried about that.
I'm gonna go get some more snake bites.
She's like, are you okay? You know, he's just sweating and shit. Oh, yeah, right, you know.
Yeah, she throws him a towel or something. He wipes his face off. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Damn, really missing that snake bite right now, you know? He didn't say that shit, but that's what he looked like.
Moving on.
So we cut back to Alice, who is still cuffed to the rod that Batwoman cuffed her to, and Kate/Circe shows up, and Alice is like, whoa, somebody with style in here. Wow. What is that mask made out of? Oak? And Circe has her two curved knives that she's holding or whatever, and she puts it up to Alice's face and is like, where's Batwoman? And Alice is just like, you really trying to threaten me with this shit?
Sure, she's on the deck.
Whatever. And then Circe's like, I'll be back for you. And Alice is like, yeah, can't wait, or some shit she said.
Whatever.
So we cut to Agent Tavaroff, who's minutes away from finding out the identity of Batwoman. Sophie's in the commander's office looking through these files, to which they have no names on them. They're just numbers, like they said earlier. And somehow, magically, it's not making sense to me right now, that she is able to find Ryan Wilder out of the bunch, Even though earlier they did say that there were no names attached to these files, they were just numbers. I'm just trying to figure out how this is working.
Okay, so what I'm thinking though is maybe Sophie couldn't stop all of the random numbered files that were being uploaded to the registry. But maybe because she was on the commander's computer, she already had access to the registry and was able to scrub Ryan's
file.
Yeah, like basically just scrubbed her from the system so there would be no match.
That makes sense, but see, that would be you assuming that they have a brain, on par with, what you just said. And we all know that they don't never make no goddamn sense on this show. So I think you're giving them too much credit, but we'll see. I'm just saying.
One can only hope, because if that's not it, then whatever the fuck this was made 0 sense.
It's just fucking stupid. Like, seriously.
Like, there's no way to approach that with a good sensibility beyond what I came up with. I'm just saying, and that's not me just saying I'm smart and shit, even though I am, but I ain't saying that. But
Oh, God.
Anyways, so Sophie does what she does, and then we go back to Tavaroff, and he sees that there are no matches found in the registry.
And he's like, what? How can she not be in the system? And I'm like, oh, so you just assumed that she was just gonna be in the system? Why, Tavaroff? Is it because she's a black woman? I'm just saying. So just because she black Batwoman, she gotta be in the system automatically? How the fuck you know? Anyway.
Sophie comes in and she's like, oh, were you, what'd she say? Did you send out invitations to a party that, what the fuck she say? Didn't even know what was supposed to be a party. She came in all cocky like and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, man, what are y'all looking at? Get back to work. You know what I'm saying? So he's irritated and she feels good about herself. She calls Luke to let him know that Batwoman's, all good and in the clear. And he's like, oh, what'd you do? She's like, don't worry about it. I just have to erase my digital footprint or whatever before the commander finds out what I did. Which is another reason why I think that she, did something with his clearance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Probably wiped her original file.
So
that's the only thing that's going to make sense.
If that's not what it is, I'm just saying,
Then that means that they walk back on what they said about these files not having no names and just all numbers, or somehow she just magically found it. That's
Look, things like this happen on this show, so the only way to know is to keep it going.
Yeah, moving on. So we cut back to Angelique and Ocean on the False Face boat, and they just got finished making Snakebite on camera, and Angelique is like, oh, you don't have to kill us, all right, we can make you some more, and Ocean is like, yeah, we can make you some more. I mean, there's all kinds of variables that goes into, and dude just, boom, shoots him straight what looks like to be in the chest or maybe the gut, or I don't know, but he shoots him. And then right before he gets to shoot Angelique, Batwoman shows up and she picks up the canisters or vials of Snakebite that Angelique and Ocean just made. So basically that's a fresh batch and she's holding it in her hands, and he's like, the guy with the gun is like, oh no, wait a minute, you don't want to do this. And she's like what? Don't want to do what? And then she drops the Snakebite. She throws a batarang, hits this dude in the hand, and does a running jump kick, and this guy's knocked out.
Yeah, Batwoman goes over to Angelique and Ocean. She frees them, squats down to check on them and shit. Angelique's like, oh, how'd you find us? Batwoman's like, yeah, girl, Ryan sends her love. I'm like, more of this mushy shit. But anyway, they help a wounded Ocean up and out the back. So Batwoman says, but I'm like, y'all on a boat? Ain't there like one way on and off this motherfucker?
But anyway.
I don't know, but Just saying.
And as they're walking out, Angelique's like, yeah, you have to go and find that girl that you won't that you won't shut up about. And then Ryan's looking at them like, yeah, go find your girl. Whatever. So we hear footsteps, and wouldn't you know, Circe/Kate shows up in her white fur coat. Or is it fur? I don't know. Okay, it's a white trench coat. All right. She shows up in her white trench coat and her mask, and she says, they're not leaving here. And of course, Ryan is like, oh, well, you're going to have to get past me or whatever. So they fight, and surprisingly, this fight is not trash like it usually is on this show, but it's not exactly great either. I'm just saying, it's a little bit of a step up. I still don't see Ryan doing much, and she is getting her ass whooped by Circe Kate.
Saying with them 6, where are those 6 martial arts?
We keep asking this question, and we are not getting any answers. But
episode 12.
On episode 12, exactly.
Whew.
But like I said, the fight is not exactly garbage. It's okay. It's a step up. But on Kate's end, I don't see
a showcase for Kate.
Exactly.
As the whole front end of the season, as the whole season pretty much has been about. If it wasn't about a political agenda to be pushed,
it was about Kate.
Yeah.
And now Kate is whooping Ryan's ass, because in actuality, that is actually what would happen if Kate and Ryan actually fought.
Yep.
Kate would beat the shit out of Ryan, but anyway, I digress. Anyway, this fight goes on for quite a bit. They end up falling. Batwoman tries to use her grappling hook to break their fall, but it slows them down, but they still fall. Ryan continues to get her ass whooped until Alice shows up and cracks Circe over the head with what looks to be a fire extinguisher. I don't know, but basically it's looking like she just saved her ass. Couple seconds later, Circe wakes up and knocks the shit out of Alice, and then knocks the shit out of Batwoman again, and then she continues to go over to Alice and puts a knife to her throat, and for the very first time, Alice looks like she's really and truly afraid.
She's all like, help me,
gasping for air and shit.
And Ryan's all like, nah, you got this.
Yeah, basically Ryan is like, nah, bitch, good luck with that. I ain't about to help you out. You know what I'm saying? And so Alice tries to appeal to her by saying, I remember your mom. I remember her name. And then she goes on to describe her mom, and she says her name was Cora and all of that. And Ryan is like, yeah, not giving a fuck. Bye, bitch. Like you said, can't save everyone. And she walks off, and you can hear Alice in the background choking and shit, because obviously Circe Kate is choking the shit out of her. I don't know why she ain't slashed her throat by now, but damn, this is some fucked up shit on Ryan's part, because that's some villainous type of behavior right here. I don't see a hero in this. Like, Batman, let's take for example, Batman wants to take down the Joker, but there are instances when the Joker is in imminent danger where he's gonna die, and Batman has saved him. He doesn't want to kill him, he just wants to reform him. And that's what makes Batman who he is and what makes him a hero. This is not heroic behavior. She's just like, yeah, go and kill a bitch, I don't care. And I'm thinking, like, that's some selfish ass shit. A hero, somebody who walks on the right side of things, doesn't behave this way. She's acting more like what would it be, an anti-hero? Bingo! She's acting more like an anti-hero right now, somebody who's morally gray. And that's not what Batwoman is supposed to be. At least I didn't think that they intended for her to be written like this, but whatever. Moving on.
So we see Sophie back at Crow's HQ in the commander's office, and she is deleting event files or logs or whatever the fuck off his computer and putting it up. And she notices a little box off to the side. She reaches for it, and it has an S on it. She opens it. It's empty. But she's like, hold up a second. Then she goes over to his trash can, looks in it, and pulls out one of those 2-pronged syringes. What? She's like, oh my god.
So that's why this motherfucker been an asshole towards me. He on drugs. So, after learning this information, Sophie decides to drop by Mary's new legal and up-to-code clinic. And she asks Mary, has anything been off about your dad lately? And she's like, off? He signed off on my place today. And she's like, well, he didn't blew up on me. Yep. You know. And he kicked me out of his office and everything, and I don't appreciate that shit. No. So she shows Mary what she found, and she's like, yeah, maybe you might want to have a talk with him about this. And then Mary's like, look, my dad is not doing snake bite. And then, so Sophie is like, well, then it should be a very short conversation then. You know, nothing to talk about. And she's like, look, he ain't doing that shit. So Mary ain't fucking with her. She doesn't believe her. The subject of the fax machine came up and it being unplugged. Sophie was kind of like, look, you don't think he would have signed off on this if he knew that was unplugged. Basically, if he knew if he was in his right mind or not. So that's what she's trying to get around to. Like, look, he wouldn't have signed off on that shit if he was in his right mind. You need to have a talk with him. And, you know, that's the end of that. Moving on.
So at Ryan's apartment above the holdup, Angelique shows up, surprise her like, hey girl, hey. Right? So, you know, oh, why don't you come with me into witness protection? And Ryan's like,
nope. That's so nice, but nah.
Like, basically she's like, my life is here in Gotham. Angelique's like, Gotham sucks. What reason do you have to stay here? And Ryan's like, oh, I'm gonna work towards making sure other little kids don't grow up like how we did in this city or some such bullshit.
Yeah, she talked about that community center again that she was working on.
Yeah. She didn't go with Angelique. Basically, it was a nice hug and embrace. They did their little pinky swear thing that they've been doing since they were kids, and yeah.
That's that. So we cut back to Alice, strapped to a chair in that dimly lit room that we saw in the beginning of the episode. In walks Black Mask and Circe Kate. Circe's like, yeah, thought you might want a face-to-face with her because she was with Batwoman. And Black Mask is like, nah, just kill her. And as Circe raises her gun and gets ready to pull the trigger, Black Mask suddenly says, nope. Throw her in the cellar. I'll deal with her tomorrow. So Kate winds up and backhands the shit out of Alice, hits her so hard that the whole damn chair falls over and slides a little bit. Circe Kate got some power. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. So what did you think about this?
I wish Alice would have pressed that button.
That would have been a better show, but no.
Just kidding.
You are not kidding. Stop it.
Okay.
I know. Okay, you ain't kidding. Anyway, man, I'm happy to be done with this. I'm very happy to be done with this episode. So, yeah, man. Guess we wrapping it up. I ain't got much else to say. What about you?
Bye.
Bye.